Hello and welcome back to the channel. LC here, your guide to all things Multiversus, and today we'll be diving into everyone's favorite question when it comes to competitive games: who are the best characters and why? We'll be breaking down who is the upper crust when it comes to Multiversus and delving into what tactics makes each character so powerful. Before we get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody that checked out the tips and tricks video. That video has cracked over 75k views at the time of this writing and has easily become the highest viewed video on this channel. You guys are simply the best. Also, if you're looking for a home for Multiversus content, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming content. The general purpose of this video is to give insight into the top tiers in this game and what tactics they employ that separate them from the pack. Now, I've played a ton of this game since the second closed alpha, so I'd like to think I have a relative firm handle on the game and its meta. However, keep in mind that this game is still in a beta stage, so naturally things will evolve and change with time. But as for now, I believe this to be a concise list based off my interactions with both the game and its community. But in the end, let's all remember the golden rule.
Well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's all just a matter of opinion in the end, so don't take it too seriously, but do feel free to drop a comment letting me know who you consider to be the best characters in the game. Alright, let's get right into it, starting with the King of the Night, Batman.
The hell are you supposed to be?
This character is a very definition of beat the brakes off of someone. I humbly feel that he has one of the game's best neutral attack strings, which covers a decent amount of distance and can easily catch both characters in his hit strings. He definitely fits the bill when it comes to the bruiser class. His special moves are all universally excellent, with his grapple move in particular being really good for recovery and is one of the best tools that you can use to close the gap on stages, unless you know this happens. But really, what Bruce Wayne's X Factor is this little thing right here. His ability to throw the Batarang and incorporate it into combos gives the Dark Knight an ability to fight every matchup in this game. The fact that its cooldown is essentially removed if you manage to pick up the Batarang after throwing it, tied with the fact that you can drop a bomb to the thing, makes Batman's neutral game extremely versatile. Tie this with good overall aerial coverage by way of his up special, and this man is ready for war. And then moving on to Jake the Doggy. So you see, I never really watched Adventure Time when it was airing, so naturally Jake and his pajama-clad counterpart were interesting additions to Multiversus for me. I really only knew about the show from that sick-ass song that had been memed to death.
Baking pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake.
However, over the last few days, I got a real opportunity to see just what makes this character quite so powerful. Starting with his base and overall kit, I think is probably one of the most versatile in the entire game when it comes to both aerial and grounded approach and damage. Well, besides this guy, and we'll get to that later. His neutral string has very good range, and the third hit on his neutral string actually produces a very large hitbox with a ton of knockback. The fact that his strings can naturally be cancelled into either down or up smash is also a very good option for reset and mix as well. Moving on to his aerial options, I think this is where Jake really earns his position on this list. All of them are kinda cracked out. His aerial down special, which turns him into a house, is one of the best interruption moves in this game. His horse transformation is also incredibly useful for both recovery and approaching. And the fact that both of these moves have very generous cancellation frames that you can cancel them really early makes the mind games extremely powerful. He also boasts one of the best aerial recoveries in the game with its up special, which actually only has a hitbox on his head. It's kinda silly. But this dog's true X factor is his ability to charge his aerial strong attack into a massive punch with a decent hitbox, which is probably the game's best single edge guard move and allows him to approach unimpeded at almost all times. Seriously, if you're using Jake, utilize this move, it is absolutely disgusting. And then jumping over to old Huckleberry Finn, I first have a message for our friends over at Player First Games and Warner Brothers. Do you understand what you did when you added Finn to the free character rotation? You unleashed something unholy, something dark and not of this world. You have doomed us all. So yeah, Finn is pretty damn good, and not for some of the more obvious and blatant reasons that you may think. I think in terms of pure aggression, he has some of the best damage output of any characters in the roster. His standard neutral string has a generous hitbox and can easily interrupt and shut out characters with stubbier normals. He also has the ability to run with several of his moves, including his down smash attack, which makes him one of the only characters in the games that has a normal that can keep momentum almost full screen into attack. That and his high five special attack are both really good for closing space. But you guys didn't click on this video to hear all that. You guys want to talk about this silly little thing right here, this abomination. Needless to say, Finn's up special, in which he twirls his backpack around, is pretty damn powerful. It can create a bit of a pseudo whirlpool when used on the ground, but its real utility comes with aerial usage. This move is kind of broken in the air, and I don't use that word lightly. I come from a background from games that had stuff like this in it. You see, what makes it such a powerful tool is its multi-hitting disjointed hitbox. If timed correctly, it can easily catch most dodges, or if you are high enough up, it can easily KO at very low damage. I've seen this thing KO at like 40-50% if people are just elevated too high. Every character has a cheese move, and this is his. I'm unsure if they'll actually patch this in the future, because without this, his aerial game is relatively weak outside of his terrific side special, which gives him a bit of a homing attack, so I don't know if that's just kind of the trade-off from him being very dominant on the ground. And the cherry on the top is that he gets even stronger with the more coins that he collects throughout battle, and he can cash in said coins for buffs, which makes him even stupider out on the field. My brothers in Christ, I pray for this hell to soon end. And then moving on, we have arrived at the most technical character in the entire roster, Arya. Actually, the entire reason I ended up getting into this game, and easily my favorite character in the show, Arya Stark really earns her title of expert level character class. You see, she has a very curious move kit, which in my humble opinion excels far more in a 1v1 than a 2v2. Her normals, both grounded and aerial wise, are all quite serviceable, if not just a tad stubby. Her aerial attack does have a pretty decent multi-hitting hitbox, which can be good for tech chases and fast fall approaches, but the place where she truly shines and becomes really one of a kind is her specials toolkit. Starting with her dagger throw. This allows you to instantly teleport to any location that the dagger landed to, including opponents. It's probably this game's fastest mode of transportation and is excellent for combo extensions. Her other abilities include stilling her opponent's face, and when using the same special again, it causes an explosive stun that will temporarily paralyze opponents and give you the opportunity to land very heavy damage. I can kind of already see that this is going to be what makes Arya truly OD in the future, especially in team play. Having that option on the field at any given time is really going to be invaluable when it comes to teams. And in rounding out her ability, she has the ability to sharpen her sword and give her and nearby allies the ability to perform turnaround attacks on any opponent. So on paper, this kit doesn't sound exactly amazing. However, this is a character that in my opinion is going to take time to develop with the meta in order to reach her true potential. All the tools are there for her to be absolutely monstrous, but it will take exceptional movement and decision making to get her there. Like I said, an expert level character. And then jumping over to Miss Harley Quinn. Another rep from our assassin class, this character is kind of the epitome of movement. Her extremely quick normals and fast fall speed allow her to combo opponents quite easily, and I genuinely think she has one of the best neutral strings in the entire game with endless reset of possibilities. If you cut somebody mashing, you can easily reset them in the string. She also has terrific aerial options, including her bat special, which can hit twice and is an excellent tech chase maneuver. Her ability to charge the aerial bat attack allows her to have access to a massive aerial hitbox, which is superb when it comes time to knock out opponents. But where she really begins to shine is her hybrid based playstyle and the ability to annoy opponents with bombs and her jack-in-the-box bomb. This gives her very unique options that others in her class lack, and having the ability to put out a stop button at any given time is really useful in a pinch. Like Arya, I think we've only seen the surface of what this character can do and just how far players will push her in the very future. The biggest issue that I see with Harley right now is dealing with overly aggressive bruiser type classes, and they can just straight up maul her if they get the ball rolling before she can. And then moving on to Superman, Clark Kent, the Kryptonian himself.
Not impressed.
This is probably the most fundamentally sound member in the entire cast, and typically who I recommend to most people as a starter character. Our only character from the tank class on this list, this man might be one of the most fun characters to play in this entire game. Boasting an extremely competent kit of attack normals and normals with armor on them, which definitely helps against very aggressive players. He for some reason has an insanely fast dodge speed and aerial dodge from the ground as well. For being a tank type character, he can traverse the screen deceptively fast, and closing the gap for him is a non-issue at almost all times. Jumping over to his specials, I gotta say, I kinda love them all. His ability to shoot a ray of heat beams from his eyes, which can be used on the ground or in the air, is one of the best neutral tools in the game and covers a ton of ground. This allows him to cover ally approaches and clear the edge for recovery options. He also has two of the game's best command grabs, which are just oh so satisfying to land and can easily kill at low percentage if positioned correctly. You're out of here, baby! Now, one of the things in his kit I find to be extremely abusable in either game mode 1v1 or 2v2 is his grounded forward special attack, which allows Clark to charge up a punch in a variety of different directions, which is extremely hard to react to. In closing, this is one of the first time that Superman has gotten justice creatively in a very long time, and it actually makes me appreciate this character again. But can we talk about how he just flies off like a little salty cupcake when he loses? Come on bro, you can't keep doing this. And coming to the stage next, we have Mystery Inc.'s very own Velma Dinkley. This is the best character you can have in 2v2, hands down, and it's not up for debate. The situations and opportunities that she creates are so unique that it's almost foolish not to bring her. Our only resident support character on this list, she earns that title with almost every action she employs on the field. So let's start by talking about her absolutely insane kit. Her neutral special, in which she holds a megaphone with the horizontal line of attack, goes damn near full screen, and let's just get this out the way, it's busted. It either causes healing if you target an ally, or damage and stacks a weaken if you hit an opponent with the final hit. One of your best neutral tools, like I said, this thing is just busted. Then we have her neutral attack. This is a homing attack that can either target, again, an ally or a foe. If it hits an ally, they will become hastened and heal them if they have already been targeted. But if targeting an opponent, this thing targets full screen and in quick succession and is essentially undodgeable. If you throw more than 2 of these things, you're going to get hit by at least one of them. Being able to do these insane attacks from the other side of the screen makes her one of the safest characters in the entire cast, and her standard attacks aren't nothing to sneeze at either. And her passive ability involves calling the cops, which can be very clutch if done at the right interval in matches. Then to top it all off, her down special reduces the cooldown for both her and her ally, which means she can do this and this even more. Calling it right now, they are probably going to nerf some aspect of her kit because as it stands right now, dominant is the only word that makes sense when describing Miss Dinkley. And to close out our list, we have a pair of Looney Tunes, starting with everyone's dear old Uncle Tom. Or rather, Tom and Jerry to be more precise. Hailing from the Maids class, T and J excels in everything they were designed to do, namely flood the screen with as many obstacles as possible. And that's not to say they can't throw down and get up close and personal either. Their standard neutral attack string is more than serviceable and a good way to juggle 2 opponents that may be nearby. Also of note, their aerial up and down smash attacks are absolutely insane. That frying pan be out here absolutely cooking. Definitely one of the best spikes in the game, and the hitbox on the trash can slam is very large, which allows excellent aerial tech chases. But the real stupidity comes with their special moves. Aerial up special creates a controllable rocket that can cause severe damage and knockback and can be an excellent way to close out stocks. Side special, Gone Fishing, has a sweet spot on it which can cause terrific knockback, and it's also really good for edge guarding. Overall, I would say Tom and Jerry's real strength comes in just pure range. Having a lot of specials, which allows him to contribute from very far away, allows him to stay relatively safe at almost all times. In closing, the only major drawback for Tom and Jerry is when Jerry is not on the field. It puts him a little lower on this list, as some of his moves get greatly neutered, but I still think he offers a lot to any team. And to cap us all off, we have the king himself, Bugs Bunny.
The king, your majesty.
The strongest character currently in Multiversus for a number of reasons. He, like Tom, also hails from the Maids class, but honestly he couldn't be any different from his brethren. You see, while he does also excel in flooding the screen full of projectiles, believe you me, that is definitely his forte, but it's a way that he does it that makes him the top dog. To start with, his neutral special, which can be done either on the air or grounded, summons a massive safe which can be hit around to cause massive damage to opponents and has a tremendous hitbox. Bugs can also summon either horizontal or vertical based rockets, which again have massive hitboxes and do tremendous knockback. If you are like over 100% and you get hit by one of these rockets, you're probably dead in most cases. And all that sounds really strong, right? But the thing that makes this rabbit truly silly is his ability to burrow under the ground and create a two-way access point, in which he's completely invincible when burrowed. And if that wasn't enough, coming out of the burrow, he launches with a briefcase attack, which is very powerful, and this can be cancelled into a vertical rocket special for massive damage. So if you see this man burrowing under the ground and he has a rocket ready, someone's probably going to die if they're a high percentage. Honestly, when it comes to Bugs Bunny, the thing that I find the most frustrating about fighting him is his pure evasiveness. If you have an opponent on the field that you just can't hit, that really drives frustration. And Bugs Bunny, the way his toolkit is set up, he is very evasive, and I think that's definitely what gives him the top spot for sure. And also of note, to cap it off, he has several strong standard attacks, including his aerial up attack, which is a bit like Harley's bat attack, but much better and with the faster hitbox. Also, his air mallet is absolutely cursed, one of the best spike moves in the game. He hits you with that, and you don't have any other recovery options, you are dead. I think it's definitely on par with Tom and Jerry's skill of attack. And that's going to do it, guys. If you are new here, please make sure you subscribe. I'm planning on doing much more Multiversus content. Next up, we're going to do 10 more tips to help everybody out get into the game because the reception of the first one was really good. But until next time, LC signing out. Peace.